Have you noticed that no one's thought to tell Hindley that Heathcliff has come back for revenge on him? Nellie says that sometimes when she's alone, she fears what's happening at the farm and thinks that she should go there and warn Hindley. But then she starts thinking that she wouldn't like going back to the house and Hindley probably wouldn't believe her if she told him. But then one winter afternoon, Nellie went on a walk to Gimmerton where she came to a crossroads where one road went to Gimmerton, one to Thrushcross Grange, and the other to Wuthering Heights. There, she remembered that 20 years earlier, she and Hindley used to play there. She gets so caught up in the memory that it feels real to her, and she suddenly feels so much concern for Hindley that she decides to put off her walk to Gimmerton to go warn Hindley about Heathcliff. When she gets to the gate at the Heights, she encounters an elf-locked, brown-eyed boy. She's sure this must be Hareton. She still has a lot of fondness for him, even though she hasn't seen him in like 10 months. She's like, "Hey, Hareton, it's me, your nurse Nellie. I'm here to see your father." His response was to pick up a piece of flint to throw it at her. Now she's thinking maybe he doesn't remember her. And then she's sure he doesn't remember her when he hurls the flint at her and hits her in the bonnet and then curses at her. She tells Lockwood that this hurt her more than it angered her. She wanted to cry, but instead she pulled out an orange from her pocket and he snatched it from her. Then she pulled out another one, but she kept it just out of reach so she could get some answers from him. While keeping the orange, in spite of his many attempts, she found out that the boy doesn't like the curate, or her, even though he probably doesn't even know her. His dad doesn't teach him anything other than to stay out of his way. It's Heathcliff who's taught him these fancy words. Of course it was. In his mind, Heathcliff protects him from his dad and the curate. Nellie gave him the orange as payment for his answers and then asked him to fetch his dad and tell him that she was waiting at the garden gate. He ran to the house, but instead of Hindley, Heathcliff emerged from the house. Nellie was scared and ran away. She ran back to the Grange, determined to be more vigilant in making sure Heathcliff's bad influence doesn't infect the people at that house. The next time Heathcliff comes to visit, he encounters Isabella first. Nellie couldn't hear the conversation, but she spied Heathcliff grab Isabella's arm and say something to her. He looked at the house, and supposing she's seen him, he kisses Isabella. Oh, Nellie was not happy about that. She told Catherine about his malbehavior. She was ready to give Heathcliff a piece of her mind, but Catherine insisted she behave or she would have to leave. Heathcliff came in and Catherine scolded him for ignoring her directive to leave Isabella alone. He accused her of being jealous, but she insisted she was jealous for him, not of him. She told him that if he wants to marry Isabella, he would be allowed to, but she questions whether he really wants to marry her. Nellie questioned whether Edgar would allow Heathcliff to marry Isabella, but Catherine insisted he would be allowed to if he really wanted to. Heathcliff responded by saying that he'll do whatever the heck he wants to, and that, by the way, "Catherine, you've mistreated me and don't think I don't see it. And you can't use nice words to console me. I'll get my revenge for this mistreatment. And thank you for telling me your sister-in-law's secret. I'll take every advantage of that." Catherine was shocked at this talk and questioned how he would take his revenge. Heathcliff said he was not going to take his revenge on her. No, he equated her to a tyrant and he to a tyrant's slave. He told her that the slave doesn't go after the tyrant. Instead, the slave tortures those beneath him. Okay, so if there was electricity and neon signs back then, this little speech would have been in neon lights. "I'm going to destroy everything and everyone you love. Please stand aside and allow me to do it." Catherine responded by saying that Edgar is redeemed for not wanting him there, and that Heathcliff could go after Edgar and Isabella, that surely would get the desired revenge on her. I don't know what she was thinking when she said that. Was this a reverse psychology thing, or did she not realize she told him exactly how to hurt her? At this point, the two were done talking and sat in silence. Nellie left to find Edgar. She decided it was time to kick out Heathcliff and ban him from the house. I think I would agree with her, but this is probably the inciting incident that brings the downfall of everyone. Nellie found Edgar and told him about the kiss and the argument. She suggested it was time to deny Heathcliff entrance to the Grange. Nellie miscalculated her move here because she figured it wouldn't affect Catherine unless Catherine chose to defend Heathcliff. So what do you think? Would you think Catherine would defend Heathcliff, when up against Edgar and Nellie. When Edgar came into the room, he blamed Catherine for much of the current fuss because she continued to allow Heathcliff to behave badly and she dismissed it. Of course, Catherine was going to defend herself. But what I think was a mistake here was that she took Heathcliff's side. She, I think, was so put off by his accusations that her knee-jerk reaction was to defend and then go after Edgar. It was almost as if she wanted to go after Heathcliff because she was mad at him, but Edgar made it impossible, so she went after him instead. Edgar had planned to have servants come in to manually remove Heathcliff from the premises. Catherine picked up on this plan and kept the servants from coming in. She all but dared Heathcliff to put Edgar in his place. Edgar was so hurt by that he couldn't speak at all, until Heathcliff forced him to. Edgar was leaning on the back of a chair, and Heathcliff kicked that chair out from under him, probably thinking Edgar would fall to the floor and be utterly embarrassed, and Catherine would be so disappointed in him that she would leave him or something. Instead, Edgar caught his footing and punched Heathcliff right in the throat. Smartly then, Edgar ran out of the room. Heathcliff and Catherine, for some reason, considered this a sucker punch. I think I would disagree. Heathcliff knocking over the chair indicated he was prepared to hurt Edgar, so Edgar had every right to defend himself. Catherine implores Heathcliff to leave because Edgar will come back with pistols and assistance. But Heathcliff refuses to leave until he gets his revenge on that sucker punch. My goodness, he is really obsessed with revenge. Nellie tells them that Edgar isn't coming back. Then she tells a little lie and says some servants with weapons are on their way. Heathcliff reluctantly leaves, and Catherine insists that Nellie follow her to her room. She told Nellie to tell Isabella not to try to talk to her. In Catherine's mind, this is all Isabella's fault. She also wanted Nellie to tell Edgar that she's in danger of being seriously ill. She doesn't want him to come to her and continue blaming her for what's happened. She actually believes she's blameless. She was very close to convincing Heathcliff to leave Isabella alone, and she yelled at him until she was hoarse, all for Edgar, when Edgar came in and ruined it all. She was so mad at both of them, she didn't care what they did to each other. Maybe she didn't care if they hurt each other, or maybe she really wanted them to fight. Maybe them fighting was like her hurting them through each other. Just a thought. She'd decided that if she can't keep Heathcliff as a friend, and if Edgar was going to continue being jealous, then she'll just hurt them both by making herself sick. Nellie saw this as Catherine's selfishness and was determined not to tell Edgar this because she didn't want to scare him to help Catherine manipulate him. Then Nellie left the room, but she passed Edgar on his way to Catherine's room. She said nothing but turned around and followed him so that she could hear what they had to say to each other. Edgar began by asking if she planned to keep Heathcliff as her friend, but she stopped him and let him know how angry she was with him. But Edgar was not deterred by this declaration and again tried to get her intentions. She refused to answer and insisted he leave her alone. She started to ring her little bell very vigorously to call Nellie to come in, and even though Nellie was right outside the room, she took her time coming in. She found Catherine banging her head on the couch arm and grinding her teeth. Edgar was concerned for her and told Nellie to get some water. But Catherine refused to drink the water, so Nellie splashed the water on her face. Then Catherine stretched out on the couch and had what sounded like a seizure. Edgar was terrified of what was going on, but Nellie was convinced this was all an act and tried to assure him there was nothing wrong. He didn't believe her, so she told him that Catherine had told her that she was going to act this way when he came in so that she could distress him. The next morning, Catherine refused to come down for breakfast. She also refused it when Nellie brought it to her, and she didn't come down for tea or supper that day either. Edgar spent his time in the library and didn't really ask about Catherine. He did try talking to Isabella about how bad Heathcliff was, but it didn't seem to deter her from Heathcliff. He ended their conversation by telling her that if she continued her relationship with Heathcliff, it could mean the end of their relationship. Thanks so much for watching and listening. If you like this video or like what I do, be sure to subscribe for more videos.